Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Toast to the Art Show. Today we welcome back Victoria Chick. She is a contemporary figurative artist and an early 19th, 20th century print collector, and she's based in Silver City, New Mexico, which is in the southwest corner of the Land of Enchantment. But she's also started this project called the Southwest Regional Museum of Art and Art Center, and we've been following this story for quite a while. It's this, really, to develop an entire museum and a fine art one is just no small feat. And she's got a lot of people working with her. And we're excited to follow up with her today to find out what's going on with the museum. They've got their new website up. And when you go on the website, you will see what I mean about this is no small feat. This is a giant project. And they've had a lot of success along the way. And there's still a long way to go. But go to their website. It's SWRMART.org. So Southwest Regional Museum Art.org. So SWRMART.org. And you can also keep up with Victoria at artistvictoriachick.com. She's on our show every third Saturday. So welcome back, Victoria. How are you?
Oh, thank you, Lisa. I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for having me on. Getting to talk about my favorite project.
It's a big project.
A big one.
We've done these interviews. You've done some articles on the different websites and magazines or different ones. And, seeing it all put together on this website where you see the images of the buildings you're looking at purchasing, right? And looking at all the different pieces of art that you've already acquired and people have donated to you. We're talking really good art. This is quality. When I say fine art, I mean it. And also just looking at how much work has gone into exactly what the museum is doing is very exciting because, you're looking at technology, interactive experiences, you're working with the community. It's just this having an online resource too. So it's something that whether people can visit when they're in Silver City and you're representing the southwest of the state, which is so exciting. But they can also connect from around the world online. So this has really developed to be a big deal.
Well, it has. It's larger than I ever imagined that it would be, and larger certainly than I imagined that. And that these things are happening as fast as they're happening. We knew it'd be a vast undertaking because we're a small place, and there's museums are I think if you look at the history of museums, almost all museums are started by a person or a family or a small group, and they take off, and other people join in, and that's what's happening here. So I have got a wonderful board of directors. We've got people who are retired professors. We've got people who are retired architects. We've got people who are business people, and we have a couple of artists. We didn't want to have all artists because museums have to be a business because you have to look at the long term and how you're going to support it, forever. And so we are taking a long time. We've taken a long time to plan, and that's not exciting to watch people sit around a table and plan. But what we come up with, the ideas that we come up with, are exciting, I think, and we're really looking forward to getting all of them into play.
One thing I think that's exciting is that you really added in, I remember from the beginning of the, communication was need to have the physical museum, which is something you're working on. And we can talk about the building project, but it was about going to actually see this fine art. And I want to say that it's a permanent collection that you're working on of American art from 1850 to contemporary times. And
Right.
It's seeing that you've also worked on doing a research library to do videos online and looking at the educational component and the outreach. I think that's a really
That's
huge
amazing.
arm. That's a whole nonprofit in itself.
Yes, it is. It is. One of the things that we're so happy about right now is that we've got our website going, and so people can look at the website and they can observe our progress. They can keep up with us. We have some of the artwork that is in the permanent collection online, and we have descriptions of what we're trying to do. We're going to be adding things. I would say we'll probably try to add things at least every month, so that people can see the artwork that's coming in. And being cataloged. They can see a video pretty soon of an artist at work. So there'll be always something new, and then as we get our building, this website will morph into announcements and a list of upcoming exhibitions and so forth, so people can plan far ahead. We hope that we'll be visited by many people from other parts of the country, from other countries even, and we know that this is going to be a great experience for our area of New Mexico. I mean, that's our target area. We want to get also an announcement going for the project that we have in mind to have outreach for this quadrant of the state, so that we'll be going to sending artists to small communities, or sending paintings to small communities, and a person to talk about the paintings or talk about the artist. So we think that this will be an educational aspect that will be really beneficial.
Wow, that's cool. I think that's going to be popular. Wow.
I think
that's a cool
too.
idea. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Going to the smaller, and especially for kids, this education. And one thing that I thought was really, and I would like to actually do a whole segment with you on this, is, because we've got our quality of life show and magazine, so we should talk about this too, is that you talk about what art does for people, the facilitation, talking about the understanding of art and how art, helps people in a way, how it moves us, the benefits of art as a whole, and when you're looking at art, how does it make you feel? What does it make you think? And so I think that's a huge part of it, is what do the arts do for human beings? And I don't think you can have any job or career without creativity being a part of it.
Right. Well, you touched on this nerve that's close to my heart, because as you know from I was talking before that I have been an art therapist in my life, and art therapy, every time a person looks at something that's designed, or something that is arranged, it's designed and arranged, and the colors are there for a purpose, and it's communication. And so art therapy is very specific, but everybody that observes art or makes art will have a different connection with that art, and it does touch us. I mean, it's part of our psyche. I mean, when you think about the elements of art or the principles of design, those are worldwide. It's not just a particular culture, although a particular culture might use one more than another. But one of the reasons that art history tells us so much, and one reason why we can look at objects and art from other cultures and understand them and appreciate them, is because that organizational part of it is universal. And then we read, depending on what what we've got through, we read into it things that are meaningful to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is part of every nation's history, their artwork.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it tells the truth. I think that's the beauty about art, is it's about truth. It's and we've talked about this before, how art tells what's really happening in history. And at the same time, it's collective, but it's also a singular experience where it can connect people around the world, whether it's like technique, whether it's the story the artist is, maybe it's an obvious story the artist is telling. But for individuals, I think it gets people to think and feel. And when you think and you feel, that's something that is private to you. So it makes people also become individuals at the same time of this being a kind of a unifying thing that art is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yes, yeah. Well, I mean, all the arts reach out to people and grab at people and are understood by people. I think some arts are more accessible. I think like music is probably more accessible than visual art, because visual art maybe requires more thought process than and music is can grab you more than grab you at an emotional level. But I may be wrong. You're the musician, Lisa, so I may be full of prunes here in saying that. But
oh God, don't be full of prunes. That could hurt.
everybody responds to music. Mm-hmm. Not everybody responds in quite the same way to art, and I think everybody can respond, but not everybody does. But we're trying to change the way there are the kind of opportunities that people have to connect with visual art in Silver City, certainly, and in the southwest quarter of New Mexico.
And the more you reach,
we'll do it. And of course, one part we talk about the museum. The word museum kind of rolls off the tongue really easily, but a great part of our project is the art center, and so the museum and the art center will work together in stimulating and teaching and allowing people to have the experience, the visual experience of and the hands-on experience of manipulating art materials and organizing them and making those art materials say something that's meaningful to them as artists.
I think it's great that you guys are doing that outreach and connecting with people, because like you were saying about, music versus art, everyone connecting with music. People connect with certain types of music, and certain types they just don't, and I think with art, it's the same thing. It could be like, a lot of times in school is just, it became a very stuffy thing, where it shouldn't be, and I think this kind of having the art center, having this outreach, you're going to be able to educate about art. And it's the same, education is everything to understanding. And then once you start to understand art a bit, then you're like, ooh, I'm in it, and you're going to look and seek more. And that's a huge, huge thing of what you're doing. And it's also great that you're really focusing on the Southwest region. So it's Silver City and beyond, right? So that would include like Las Cruces and that area?
Well, yeah, Las Cruces does a really good job on its own. And of course, we are 120 miles from Las Cruces. So what we're going to do is like from Deming to the west, with the really small communities, the communities that have no cultural resources except individually, and so we want to make ourselves available with materials and a mobile place that they can experience making art. That especially is important, because a lot of schools and not just small communities, but a lot of school districts don't have art anymore,
right,
or music.
mm-hmm.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe they have marching band or something like that, but not in a larger sense. And so, I've talked to kids who don't have that opportunity unless it's provided. Especially really young kids don't have the opportunity unless the parents provide art materials for them, because they don't get it in school. They don't have that opportunity. And people, you shouldn't think about art as that everybody's going to be an artist, as a profession. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to use art as another communication tool and as a learning tool. And
Exactly.
and creativity, you mentioned that word earlier on. Creativity gets stimulated, and creativity it goes so far beyond making pictures or manipulating materials into a sculpture, for instance, because just creativity is thinking of solutions. It's not painting pretty pictures necessarily, although that might happen. But it's working out solutions to visual problems, and that can carry over to a lot of things. It can carry over to math. It can carry over to science, and it can carry over to literature. Any other endeavor is going to be improved the more creative the person that's doing it happens to be. So
it does bridge language. I mean, because you can, it doesn't matter what language you speak when you're looking at a painting.
Right.
It speaks to you and you know what it means.
Yes. Yeah.
I think this is a really huge deal in regards to Silver City, in Grant County, in the regions, like, Membrace, all the little communities that are around you. And when, we've been doing these interviews because tourism is changing. It's going beyond responsible tourism. It's going beyond ecotourism. Now it's about regenerative tourism. See, I can say that word now, Nancy.
Good for you.
It's and transformational tourism. And these two are a little bit more than just volunteering or doing something. It's about, what are you experiencing as a traveler? What is the community doing that is something positive for tourism? So it goes beyond the big theme parks, which, there's a place for those too, right? But when you look at Silver City being home to the Gila Cliff Dwellings National Monument, you think about this amazing history that you have and natural beauty. It really makes sense for the arts to be part of it. But this is about tourism that is like a positive footprint, right? You're attracting people that want to learn about something. And so regenerative means it keeps going, right? It's something that they could come and take a lesson, and when they go home, they're changed. And that's also part of transformational tourism, is that it's kind of a when people come into your community, then they're part of the community in some way. They're giving back in some way. But through education and these kinds of programs, they really are. And art will change you when you see it, when you learn how to do something. So I think that this really goes into what's happening in tourism now, because we're looking at what is our environmental footprint? What impact are we having as visitors going to a place? And we should be taking our, don't dump your trash in the street, right? There's that kind of thing, but it is about what, when someone comes in and maybe, goes to the museum and pays a fee, then that money is going in for the betterment of the community in so many ways, so that's kind of what I'm saying. This is a true benefit to the community, but also the visitor community, and in a positive way.
Well, you've touched on a lot of positive things there. You and I have kind of discussed this before about tourism, and that is as far as the museum is concerned, and that one of the plans for us is to offer like classes they would have to be signed up for in advance, but with reservations. But so we would have materials and so forth and be ready for them. But we would offer an art tourism experience, and part of that would include other organizations that are arts organizations in our area, but the museum would offer space. They would offer classes. We would offer instructors if they wanted. We can design the kind of class that they are looking for. So we're not locked into a particular kind of class. We can be very flexible as to what people want. So they can sort of pick and choose what they want to learn, what their goal is, and how long they want to engage in it. And so I'm excited about that, because I think when people go places, when I go places, I want to do something. I don't want to just go to a motel, go out to dinner, and my whole day revolves around my meals. I want to do something that I find productive or interesting.
Well,
So,
when you paint what you see, when you go on a trip and you start painting what you see, you're really in it then. And what you see suddenly means way more to you. Yeah. It's an awesome experience.
Yep. And so that's where it goes. We're really anxious to get started on our building, and we are working very hard to raise enough money right now to have a physical building that we can really start programming in. And so I hope that your listeners will keep up with us on our website.
I love that. I love that the website really shows the diagrams of the building, and it's a cool building. You showed it last year when we came out to see you. It's a beautiful building, and it's next to the Silver City Museum, which is just an incredible museum. And then you've got also the Membres pottery, that wonderful. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. This is like just puts Silver City, just elevates this whole experience. You've got the galleries, the museums, and to have an art museum is like that's what is so needed. And I see people once the museum is up and running, but right now you can already have an experience, and that's something I wanted to say. When you go on the website, and everyone again, it's SWRM as in what museumart.org. I was like, I better watch what I say. It's SWRMart.org. You can already start seeing some of the art. And it's really cool. You've got glass art. You've got so many you've got over 1,000 pieces. Am I reading that, or that's what you're wanting to?
Actually, we're up to about 1,500 pieces now.
Wow!
since you and I spoke, I mean, all of this is in storage right now, and it's being cataloged. And also, the other thing I'm really excited about from our museum standpoint is that I think we're going to be one of the most unique situations, because we have been given a collection of art books. We've got 2,000 probably art books in our art history section, given by C.W. Flanders.
Wow.
So we will have it will be an art research library, and people could come and they can't check the books out, but they can look at the books while they're there. And the cataloging, it will be online so that anybody in the world can know what books we have. So I think that's kind of unique. And then we have another collection of books that have been given to us that are more like how-to books, how to do printmaking, or how to do etching, how to do plein air painting. So we've got those books, and those books are going to be in our art center, so that as stimulating kinds of books for people to help them do art.
I dig this. This is so exciting, because I know, and you know what? Art books are awesome. You could just sink into that all day long, But this is going to be one of those things, though, when people go to, New Mexico, and there's that whole program of New Mexico True. Well, if you want to have,
Right.
I mean, that's the art, dude, right there. I'm just saying. But when you go into New Mexico Southwest, okay, like you were saying, Las Cruces is doing a good scene. You've got El Paso. People shouldn't poo-poo El Paso. They've got an art scene too. You've got Tucson,
Sure.
right? So you've got that lower, corridor off the interstate. But then you go up, you've got Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Taos, and there's other smaller communities too. But, New Mexico is full of tiny communities. I mean, we know whenever you drive in New Mexico, get gas. When you get anywhere close to your half tank limit, because you got so many smaller communities, you could drive for hours and get in trouble. And I mean this in a positive way. You know what I mean? And so that's why I think what's so great with what you're doing about connecting these small communities in, because also artists don't tend to always be in a city. They tend to go off in the middle of nowhere, or, there's kids that are on like a farm and are interested in art, but do not have, I mean, remember when we lived in Julian and San Diego up in the mountains? And remember, Nancy, I started that music program through the Women's Club.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they, adopted as an arm in there. And we did these concerts and raised funds for music education and music scholarships for the kids. And then they applied through the school saying, so that they could get education. So we would pay for them to have musical instruction, and we were open, like if they wanted to learn, electric guitar, let them learn electric guitar. Don't make them, do the stuff they're not interested yet. You know what I mean? There's a way to teach to do both. And here's what we learned. We raised all this money, and guess what happened? They couldn't take the classes because that meant the parents who were obviously going, working outside of this little mountain town and driving an hour plus to an hour and a half to 2 hours commute in the morning and evening. They're not going to drive their kids down the hill to classes because we didn't have all the instructors where we were. So it was just one of those very difficult things. But what we were able to do was, send everybody information. Like we were able to get them videos and order them books and whatever their specialty was. So we were still able to provide that education. But those small communities, that's a very difficult thing. They're left off all the time, and those kids don't have anyone really helping them. And that could be your next Picasso. You never know. You know what I mean?
Well, the interesting thing, I think I moved here because to me this community was kind of unique, the community of Silver City. And there are close by communities too, like Pinos Altos, down the Mimbres, and so forth. There's one that's a little farther away called Reserve. Anyway, these communities have a cadre of talented people, and talented in a lot of areas. I mean, we've got people living here who've had world important jobs in their lives. They know certain areas. They're specific. They have knowledge in specific areas, and you wonder why they gravitated here. But I don't know. I can't give you one reason why all these people retired here, but they did, and some of them took early retirement. And so you've got this group of people who are have high academic credentials. Yes, people who have skills in a lot of arts. You have people who have worked in government positions. And a lot of these people, from my standpoint, they're interesting because a lot of these people have collected art. You've got people coming from other countries or counties and states that have had art galleries, and so they established an art gallery here. So we wind up having way more art activity than a lot of towns our size. Sophisticated art activity.
Exactly.
So a lot of these people are willing to share their experience, to share their skills, I find this to be a very stimulating place, and I'm really happy I live here. To be part of
it's
it.
beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, it really is. And it's so easy to get to, and it's a beautiful drive in. No matter what road you take, it's beautiful. And it is the epitome of the Southwest. As soon as you get, it's just, it is, so it's exciting, and it's exciting about, the building project, and that you're getting backing, and the government entities are looking in on it too. I think that's a really important thing. Before you go, though, I did want to touch on this. Just everyone again, SWRMA.org is the website. But before you go, I mean, because there's so much going on, we will always keep in touch on this. You've got an event coming up for you. You've got an exhibit coming up in Las Cruces, right, this summer.
I do. I'm really excited about this. It's going to be at the Brannigan Cultural Center. And I'm not sure the exact dates. It's going to be August and September. The Cultural Center is a lovely exhibition space, and so I'm really looking forward to having my work there. This will be I had a show there 2 years ago, and I was real happy when they invited me back. So, and
that is
probably
awesome.
part of it will be a talk. So,
cool.
Anyway,
and her talk will be "Come to the museum. Come to the museum."
No. That would be a no at another museum, I think.
No, but you got to also do your art too, and that's awesome to. Yeah. It's so great to see things get back to normal with that.
I want to say something about the art, because we're talking about the Southwest Regional Museum, and that is the area we're serving, basically. But we're not limiting ourselves to the sort of a stereotypic Southwest art idea. So we're having art from all over the United States in our permanent collection, and art from all different time periods of the United States. So there'll be a big variety.
That's good to know.
Subject matter and so forth.
That's good to know.
And my work is not part of it. My own work is not. I mean, I've been collecting art for a long time, and I'm going to give my collection to the museum, just like a lot of other people in the area have done. And so we'll have art from Californians, art from the Midwest, art from the West Coast. I mean, the East Coast. So there'll be a big variety.
Cool. I know with your collection, definitely. There's a lot of, but I was even just looking at that glass. You've got sculpture, you've got painting. I mean, it's like when you go on the website, you'll see that it really is diverse, and I love that. I love that. Yeah, because I think people always think, oh, as soon as it's in the Southwest, it's it's all going to be cactus paintings. Georgia O'Keeffe, and there's so much more.
We'll have to really have a strong advertising program once we get started, so that people will understand that it's not just Southwest art.
Yeah, right. It's regional. That's what that's in the name too. It's a regional. So, but thank you so much for joining us again, everyone. Victoria's on Big Blend Radio every third Saturday, so you can keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Also, go to her website, Victoria Chick, or you can go to artistvictoriachick.com. And again, the museum is SWRMA.org. So, thank you so much, Victoria.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate talking to you and letting people know what's going on here in Silver City.